Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, cutting calories, hitting the gym, following every diet trend, you just can't shake that stubborn fat? You start to wonder if your body's working against you. And the truth is, in many cases, it might be. Not because of laziness or lack of discipline, but because of something far subtler, far more powerful: stress hormones. It's a hidden force that can quietly influence your metabolism, your cravings, and even the way your body stores fat. You don't feel it as you go about your day, but its impact can be enormous, shaping the results of every workout, every meal, every choice you make. Today, we're going to explore how stress hormones work, why they can make fat stubbornly cling to your body, and what you might be able to do to finally unlock your progress. The science behind stress. When most people think of stress, they imagine a looming deadline, a tense conversation, or a rough day at work. But stress is not just a psychological experience. It triggers a cascade of physiological responses in your body, orchestrated by a hormone you've probably heard of: cortisol. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, and for good reason. It's produced by the adrenal glands whenever your body senses a threat, whether that threat is a predator in the wild, a traffic jam, or a mountain of emails waiting for you in the morning. Its original purpose was survival. It prepares your body to respond to danger, increasing your heart rate, sharpening your focus, and providing quick energy by mobilizing stored nutrients. This was life-saving for our ancestors, but today, stress is rarely a single acute event. It's chronic. The constant deadlines, notifications, and pressures we face keep cortisol levels elevated far beyond what our bodies were designed to handle, and that's when it starts to affect fat. Cortisol and fat storage. Cortisol influences your metabolism in subtle but powerful ways. One of its primary roles is to ensure your body has access to energy in times of need. It does this by breaking down muscle tissue into amino acids, converting them into glucose, and releasing them into the bloodstream. That sounds efficient in theory, but here's the catch. When cortisol is chronically elevated, your body starts to favor fat storage, particularly around the abdomen. Some reports suggest that the type of fat it encourages, visceral fat, is not just stubborn but metabolically active, producing its own hormones that can interfere with insulin and appetite regulation. Visceral fat is different from the fat you pinch at your hips or thighs. It wraps around your internal organs, and because it's hormonally active, it creates a feedback loop that can make it harder to lose. You could be exercising, eating clean, and see little change. It's not that your efforts are useless, far from it, but your body's hormonal environment might be quietly resisting them. Stress and appetite, the hidden connection. Another reason stress can make fat stubborn is the way it affects appetite. Elevated cortisol is associated with increased cravings, particularly calorie-dense, carbohydrate-rich foods. This isn't just psychological, it's biological. Your body interprets stress as a threat, and your brain signals that it needs quick energy sources to survive. This can lead to cycles of overeating or emotional eating that feel impossible to control. You might notice yourself reaching for snacks at times of tension, or finishing meals even when you aren't truly hungry. And the more this cycle repeats, the more cortisol can influence your fat storage. It's a delicate interplay of hormones, appetite signals, and energy balance. The role of sleep and recovery. Cortisol doesn't act in isolation. Sleep, recovery, and even the time of day play critical roles in how your body stores and burns fat. Poor sleep is a form of stress, and it can elevate cortisol levels at times when they should be naturally low. This disrupts other hormones too, including leptin and ghrelin, which help regulate hunger and fullness. Imagine working hard all day, eating mindfully, and hitting the gym, only to find your efforts undermined by a few nights of restless sleep. Chronic sleep deprivation signals your body that it's in survival mode, keeping cortisol high and fat storage active. The body interprets it as a threat, not a period of recovery. Now, if all of this feels discouraging, stay with me, because there's a fascinating twist. While cortisol can make fat stubborn, it doesn't make change impossible. Understanding these hormonal patterns gives you the chance to work with your biology instead of against it. And this is where many people miss a critical piece of the puzzle. Stress isn't just one thing. It's a combination of lifestyle, mental state, and daily habits. By addressing it from multiple angles, it's possible to create an environment in your body where fat loss becomes much more achievable. Lifestyle factors that affect stress hormones. First, consider nutrition. Extreme diets, skipped meals, or inconsistent eating can all elevate stress hormones, sometimes more than the occasional indulgent snack. Balanced meals, regular patterns, and adequate protein can help stabilize cortisol and blood sugar levels. Exercise is another piece of the puzzle, but it's nuanced. Too much intense training without proper recovery can elevate cortisol even further. The key is finding a balance between challenging your body and giving it time to rest and rebuild. Gentle movement, stretching, or low-intensity cardio can be as effective for fat loss as high-intensity sessions if your stress hormone levels are high. Mindset and mental health are equally critical. Chronic psychological stress, work pressures, social strain, constant multitasking can keep cortisol elevated day after day. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing, or even just short breaks during your day can have measurable effects on hormonal balance. Some research suggests that regular stress management not only reduces cortisol, but also improves fat metabolism over time. The subtle influence of environment. Even the environments we live and work in can contribute. Bright lights late at night, constant screen exposure, noise, and lack of green space are all stressors your body responds to biologically. Over time, these seemingly small factors can amplify cortisol production and make fat loss more difficult. Interestingly, some reports suggest that small, consistent environmental changes, like reducing evening screen time, spending time outdoors, or creating structured routines, can reduce the body's stress response in ways that are surprisingly powerful. Your environment can either feed the hormonal cycle, keeping fat in place, or help break it. The importance of consistency and patience. One of the most misunderstood aspects of stress hormones and fat loss is the timeline. The body is not instant. It doesn't flip a switch when you start eating better or exercising more. Cortisol, leptin, insulin, and other hormones respond slowly to lifestyle changes. That means visible results can take weeks or months, even when you're doing everything right. It also explains why some people see plateaus despite consistent effort. It's not a failure, it's your body adjusting, balancing, and gradually shifting its hormonal environment to support fat loss in a sustainable way. Patience, consistency, and realistic expectations are just as important as diet or exercise routines. Here's something that surprises many people. The fat that resists change isn't always about eating too much or moving too little. Often, it's about where the fat is stored and how your hormones interact with it. This is why two people with similar diets and workouts can see completely different results. It's a reminder that fat loss is deeply personal and influenced by hidden biological factors you can't always see on the scale. And while this might feel frustrating at first, it is ultimately empowering. Realizing that hormones play a significant role in how your body stores fat changes the entire narrative you may have believed for years. It helps you see that weight gain is not always a simple result of overeating or lack of willpower. Instead, it is often a complex response to internal signals your body is constantly processing. This understanding removes the guilt and replaces it with clarity. When you learn about the hormonal side of fat storage, you begin to recognize patterns that traditional dieting advice often ignores. For example, chronic stress can elevate cortisol levels, encouraging the body to hold on to fat, especially around the abdomen. Poor sleep can disrupt hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin, making you feel hungrier and less satisfied after eating. Even irregular meal timing or extreme calorie restriction can signal to your body that it needs to conserve energy, slowing your metabolism and increasing fat storage. This knowledge gives you practical tools that go beyond simply counting calories. You start to focus on improving sleep, managing stress, eating balanced meals, and creating sustainable habits rather than punishing routines. You begin to understand that supporting your body's hormonal balance is just as important as managing your diet. Most importantly, this shift in perspective moves you away from self-blame. Instead of thinking, "Why can't I control myself?" you start asking, "What is my body trying to tell me?"
That question opens the door to smarter, kinder, and more effective strategies. Understanding hormones doesn't just change how you approach weight loss, it changes how you view your body. And that mindset shift is often the first real step toward lasting, healthy change.
Practical steps without oversimplifying. So, what can be done? While we won't promise overnight transformations, research-backed strategies can help balance stress hormones and support fat loss. Gentle, consistent movement, sleep hygiene, balanced nutrition, hydration, and stress management are all part of the picture. Even small, incremental adjustments, like taking breaks from screens, practicing mindful eating, or incorporating brief relaxation exercises, can gradually lower cortisol and improve your body's environment for fat metabolism. It's important to remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about consistency and sustainability. Your body responds to patterns over time, not one-off efforts. Hormonal balance is more about creating supportive habits than chasing quick fixes. Think about it this way. Your body isn't working against you out of malice. Every stubborn bit of fat, every unexpected craving, every plateau has a reason rooted in biology. And the more you understand it, the more you realize that change is possible, just not in the ways we're often told by trends or quick fixes. Cortisol and stress hormones are powerful, but they are not permanent barriers. They are signals. They are guides that tell us how our body is responding to the world around us. When approached with knowledge, patience, and care, these signals can be gently shifted, and the fact that once felt immovable can begin to release. If this perspective resonated with you, consider sharing your experience in the comments. How has stress influenced your own journey? Let's start a conversation. And if you found this video insightful, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss more content that dives deep into the science behind your body's hidden mechanisms. Every step toward understanding brings you closer to results that feel natural, sustainable, and empowering. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about fat loss. It's about understanding yourself, your body, and the subtle forces that shape your health.